Coming back to you, Anand, in wake of all the hearings that are taking place in the hearing that is taking place inside the Supreme Court, what's the scene outside? Are there more political leaders from the opposition or from the government side who have come and reacted to the Waqf Amendment law being challenged in court?
Yeah, Megha, look, if we talk about the political leaders and their supporters being available outside the Supreme Court, so there is a clear silence over here at the Supreme Court lawns, and we can hardly find any of the petitioners or their supporters over here. So clearly, if their lawyers are making arguments inside the courtroom, then their petitioner must be with them inside the courtroom only. So once they come out after the court hearing, then only we can speak to him and we can get their reaction that what all went inside the courtroom. Back to you, Megha.
Okay, there has been an important, significant point that has been made by Advocate Sanjay Hegde. He's spoken to the three-judge bench. He's spoken about how Amritsar was at one point of time in non-Sikh control several times in history, and it required an Akali Dal movement to change that. Now, this is the reference that he has made, making a comparison to the Waqf Amendment Act, Advocate Faisal, and how there has been the inclusion of non-Muslim members to the board of trustees who are then going to manage this endowment. So does this argument hold water in court?
Remind you one thing, as Mr. Anand has said before your viewers, with regard to the Ayodhya judgment, which has been quoted by senior advocate Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. So let me remind you of one thing, that there were, I think, a few review petitions filed against the Ayodhya judgment, and the bench was shared by the present CJI, Mr. Sanjiv Khanna. So therefore, as of now, the Ayodhya judgment holds a lot of value, because that review petitions were dismissed, and what has been quoted by Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi still holds the ground. So this is a very important aspect that has to be kept in mind. Now, with regard to inclusions of non-Muslims in the management of the affair, so there are two views. The first thing is this, that the court may see that, whether interference, what kind of interference does it mean if you include a non-Muslim to the management of the Waqf? So they have to examine the entire Sharia law, and they have to go into, because like for an example, if I just give you one short example of the Constitution of India, there is a one very famous case of a Jabalpur case, ADM Jabalpur case. So there are two words in the Constitution of India. One says the citizen of India, and the other one says a person. A person may be a citizen of India, a person may not be a citizen of India, but a person means a person of any nationality or a no man's land, but he has been given certain basic rights, certain fundamental rights within the Constitution of India. So on that particular parameter, the court has to examine that whether there is a strict interpretation or a liberal interpretation of the Sharia law. So this is a very, very tough task, but as far as I am concerned, it is not about a strict interpretation or the liberal interpretation. The court has to lift the wheel and to understand the basic purpose of the parliament, because the parliament has passed this law with a majority, and a government in majority which has certain other aspects in mind. So the court has to examine three things. First is that whether under the Sharia law there is a strict interpretation and only a Muslim can manage the affairs of Waqf, or whether there is a liberal interpretation, or whether there have been instances around the world which they can prove, which the respondents can prove, yes, there have been Waqfs which have been managed by non-Muslims, those who are not non-believers.
Okay.
But as far as I think, because there has to be one thing which has to be understood by your viewers, is this, that under the Sharia law, a Muslim man can marry a Jew or a Christian without converting. But if he marries, except for these three, that is a Muslim man marrying a Muslim woman, or a Jew or a Christian, then in that situation, conversion has to take place. Otherwise, that marriage will be
Null
void
and
ab
void.
initio.
Okay, stay on with me. Back on the telecast is Sambhav. Sambhav, fresh development.